They will never understand you, and that is your greatest advantage. Most people fear silence the way they fear death desperately, blindly, running from it into noise, into crowds, into the comfortable numbness of being surrounded. But you have sat alone in a quiet room and felt something most humans will never feel in their entire lives, the full, unfiltered weight of your own mind. And here is what the world will never tell you. That is not a weakness. That is a mark. There are 6 specific things done alone, done in silence, done without applause that separate the truly rare minds from the rest. If these things feel natural to you, your intelligence runs deeper than you know. Stay. Because what comes next will change how you see yourself forever. Watch how people react when life throws something hard at them. The moment tension arrives, most reach for their phones. They scatter the problem across 5 different people, collecting opinions like a beggar collecting coins, grateful for any hand that gives. But you do something different. You sit with it. You let the problem breathe. You turn it like a stone in your hand, feeling every edge, every weight, every rough surface. You let yourself be frustrated, then still, then sharp again. The Stoics called this premeditatio, the deliberate, solitary meditation on difficulty before surrendering to outside counsel. Psychologists call it internal locus of control, the rare, almost sacred belief that your own reasoning is worth trusting before anyone else's is invited in. Here is the dark truth most people never confront. Outsourcing your thinking feels like wisdom, but it is actually fear. Fear of being wrong alone. Fear of sitting inside uncertainty with no one to blame. There is a counterfeit version of emotional processing that the world mistakes for depth. It is loud. It performs grief in public. It needs an audience to feel real. And then there is you. When something breaks inside you, you go quiet. Not because you are shutting down, but because you are going in. You sit with it. You ask it hard questions. You refuse to perform the wound before you have understood it. This is one of the rarest psychological traits that exists. Emotional granularity, the ability to feel precisely. Not just sad, not just angry, but the specific, layered, complex texture of what is actually happening beneath the surface. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journals, not for publication, not for applause. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. He did not tweet that. He wrote it alone. People who process emotion this way in solitude, with brutal honesty, develop something the emotionally performative never do: self-mastery. They do not need others to validate their pain in order for it to be real. That is psychological power of the highest order. You can walk into a room full of people and feel separate, not lonely, not superior, just aware. You notice the power dynamics playing out beneath the small talk. You see who performs confidence and who actually has it. You watch which conversations are genuine and which are just two people waiting for their turn to speak. And you say very little. This is not coldness. This is strategic observation, one of the most dangerous cognitive skills a human being can develop. The Stoics called it the view from above, the ability to mentally step back from the noise of human theater and see clearly what others are too deeply embedded to notice. People who do this naturally are not antisocial. They are operating on a different perceptual frequency. They are reading the room while everyone else is the room. In a world of performers, the observer holds all the power. While the world sleeps, something in you wakes. The noise dies. The demands disappear. And your mind, finally free from the constant interruption of other people's urgency, begins to move at its true speed. Ideas arrive. Connections form. Questions you have been carrying all day finally get asked. This is not insomnia. This is not disorder. This is what researchers call diffuse thinking, the brain's deepest, most creative mode of processing. It only activates when external stimulation drops away, when silence creates the conditions for true depth. Most people never experience this because they fill every silence before it can deepen. They scroll, they stream, they talk. You sit in the dark, and in that darkness, you think thoughts that daylight, with all its noise and obligation, would have never allowed. The rarest minds have always done their most dangerous work in the quiet hours. Newton, Da Vinci, Aurelius. They were not more gifted, they were more alone and more honest in that aloneness than anyone around them. You do not give yourself to everyone, not because you are afraid of connection, but because you understand, on a level most people never reach, that your attention is a finite resource, and what you give it to will shape who you become. You watch people first. You listen more than you speak. You let time do what rushed intimacy cannot reveal. And only when trust has been earned quietly, completely, without theatrics, do you open. The world calls this being guarded, being closed, being cold. The Stoics called it wisdom. Seneca wrote, "Associate with those who will make you better." Not many, not loudly, better. You are not withholding yourself out of fear. You are protecting something rare, the version of you that exists in full depth, and reserving it for those who are actually capable of holding it. That is not isolation. That is discernment. And it is one of the highest forms of self-respect that exists. Here is the truth the world refuses to say out loud. The rarest intelligence does not announce itself. It does not seek validation. It does not need the crowd to confirm what it already knows. It sits in silence. It wrestles alone. It observes. It builds. It waits. And while everyone else is busy being seen, it is busy becoming formidable. If these six things feel familiar to you, if you recognized yourself in any part of what you just heard, understand this. You are not broken. You are built differently. And in a world drowning in noise, shallow thought, and borrowed opinions, a mind like yours is not just rare. It is necessary.